ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blueprint. We're licking our wounds from last week a little bit, but overall a pretty fun wild card weekend, I guess you could say, even though there was a lot of blowouts. But that being said, we're back, divisional round. Going to try to take another stab at this and see what happens. But let's do a little quick recap from last week. I know my boy Gabe, he's probably holding back something here for one of his core four picks last week, but Gabe, I'll give you the floor.
I'm not holding anything back. I don't have anything really to say besides Deontay Johnson. You need to go to counseling. You got to figure it out. I don't. At this point, you got to take a look in the mirror and realize the problem's probably you.
Yeah, three teams in a year. So
yeah, just because you don't get the ball doesn't mean that they're not trying to get you the ball. That you're not a good player, buddy. That should be a sign of respect if they're not letting you the ball. It means you're probably covered, and they're probably making sure that you're not open.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers have that mindset of they're always open, and they should get the ball every single play.
True.
But his is probably a little extreme because I don't know what he's done to deserve that type of mindset. But anyway, besides that, that game was very entertaining, the Houston and Chargers game, for a little bit before it kind of turned into a blowout. But
overall, I mean, I guess the only really good game of the week probably had to be the Commanders versus the Buccaneers. That was the only one possession game. Everything else was multiple scores. So kind of a disappointing, you sit down to watch football and then all of a sudden you're like, dang, I guess I'm going to be watching Extreme Home Makeovers with my wife because this is over. And I can't come up with an excuse to watch this anymore because she knows it's over. And when she knows it's over, TV's over. So
Jaden Daniels is him. I know that.
Jaden Daniels is him.
He should have been the first overall pick this year instead of Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But
I think so. There's one play that stood out to me this past weekend. Can anybody think what play it was?
Like as a funny play, like a butt fumble type, or are we talking like
there's one play that just caught my mind, and I've just been thinking about it all week. And it was not the doink field goal.
Doink field goal. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
So I don't know if you guys remember this a few years ago, but Colin Cowherd said there was one guy in the NFL that he thought he could tackle. Can anybody name him?
I don't know who it was.
He said he could tackle Baker Mayfield. The one play that stood out to me, and I've been seeing the memes all week long, is his clip saying that, and then Baker Mayfield running over Bobby Wagner.
I didn't see that.
It's so good, dude. God, I'll have to send it to you after this.
I was thinking more of like either the Dallas Goedert double stiff arm on that poor kid that had to go back home to his family after he got shown who his daddy was. I was like, how do you talk to your kids after that when I do it twice? Makes you look like a child. You need to go home to your kid.
Yeah. I was thinking Derrick Henry when he stiff armed Mika Fitzpatrick
dude, that was filthy. That was Bama on Bama crime right there.
No one is safe when he runs.
No one is safe. So good highlights, not great games from this week, but let's transition a little bit into this week, right? Divisional round. You got Texans versus the Chiefs. You got Commanders versus the Lions, Rams versus the Eagles, and Ravens versus the Bills. So we're going to talk a little bit of value this week for sure, but off the bat, I just want to ask, anybody see an upset happening this week? One that you want to call your shot on now?
All right, look, you guys are going to roast me for this. Media is going to everybody thinks that this team's destined for the championship just because everybody wants them to win. I am a huge Houston Texans guy now with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud, Nico. Something about they're the only thing that's scarier than a really good team is a team with nothing to lose. And Houston's going out there thinking like, they have no chance. The Chiefs, whatever, they're coming off a bye week, could be a little rusty. Houston's coming off a big win against the Chargers. The Texans have really good players. Their defense is playing good. Their offensive weapons are amazing. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. I mean, obviously they're really good and they're at home. But a 10-point spread in that game, it just kind of surprises me with as well as Houston's defense is playing with Anderson and Daniil Hunter. Like, they have a good D line, they have good linebackers, and they have all pro corner and Stingley. Like, they're a good team, and I think they're getting slept on a little bit. And the the Texans and Commanders both won me some money last week, so they've got my every
You're
week.
pro Texas, pro Commanders.
I love the Commanders and the Texans right now, but especially the Texans because I guess like when I look at matchups, I look down the depth chart, whatever. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes beats C.J. Stroud pretty easy, but I think Nico Collins is the best receiver on the field for
Yeah.
both teams. Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, both good running backs. We're talking about Joe Mixon, a perennial Pro Bowler, and he's been on all pro. Like, I love Joe Mixon. I think he's a great running back.
Yeah.
So I just think they have the weapons to do it. Now, whether or not they get some questionable calls along the way to kind of boost the Chiefs to the next round, which could possibly happen, I'm taking the Texans at the points, though, for sure.
The points or the money line?
Oh, I'll take them both, but the points, I'm very confident in the points. But the money line, I'm going to take – that money line is crazy high, too. It's like in the plus 300s. I'm going to throw something on that money line, baby. Go Texans, just out of respect for what they did for me last week.
Yeah. It's plus 375 when I last looked.
Come on.
That's pretty wild, to be honest with you.
Give it to me.
You got Commanders at plus 400, Rams at plus 225, and Ravens and Bills is basically a pick 'em.
Yeah. That game is going to be good, Ravens and Bills.
Yeah, it's basically MVP on MVP. So he's actually the MVP. So, but let's, Cole, I'll give you one shot to call your upset.
Shot.
See, I'm not really sure about an upset. Gabe kind of took mine.
Yeah.
But I'm a big Baltimore guy. I really think that Baltimore's going to win it all. I'm a believer in Lamar and them. Buffalo, I don't know how they keep doing what they're doing, man. I don't know.
He's shaking his head.
I don't know how Buffalo keeps doing it, man. I mean,
you know that big horse. You know that big Buffalo baby. Or no, he's a cowboy. The big cowboy, Wyoming, Josh Allen.
Big cowboy.
He's throwing out there to Johnny No Names out there at receiver, and I have no idea how they keep scoring 31 points.
Oh, so he's throwing to Johnny No Names, and we're throwing to Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman in Baltimore.
Well,
Aguilar been in the league a long time.
Let me let you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna let you finish before I
go. Well, yeah. I mean, you also don't have Derrick Henry, the Tater, in the backfield, and Zay Flowers on the outside. But even though he's hurt, and Mark Andrews at tight end, you got Dalton Kincaid. Why don't you tell me how good Dalton Kincaid's been this year?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Yeah. But, I mean, Washington, I don't see an upset happening with Detroit.
It's going to be tough in Detroit.
I mean, the Rams could beat the Eagles, but everything would have to go perfectly their way.
It's cold.
Yeah, I don't see it.
And you'd have to expose the white corners on the outside with white receivers, so it'd be a very interesting matchup.
White on white.
White on white is going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah.
But I think the only two upsets that are even possible is probably going to end up being Houston and I guess you could say Baltimore being an upset against Buffalo because
man, they're the favorites. Buffalo's underdogs in that game. They're on the road, I think. Right? I think Baltimore. It's in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's in Buffalo.
Man, they're home dogs. You talk about a home dog, they're gonna have something to play for. You get them underdogs at home. Josh Allen's coming out for blood, and the Ravens won the first matchup at the beginning of the season this year. I think that was kind of before Josh Allen had gotten, I won't say comfortable, but they did add Amari Cooper. Now, whatever you want to say for him, he's kind of suspect, but they have a better receiving core than the Ravens. But I definitely think the Ravens defense is playing way better than the Buffalo's defense right now, even though Buffalo did shut out the Broncos in the second half this past week. So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited for that one. Probably one of the most exciting games in the last few years, to be honest, besides like a Super Bowl. That's a great matchup.
Yeah, it's an awesome matchup. Honestly, it could be Super Bowl with 2 more rounds to go. So, but let's jump. We kind of shot the breeze here for a second. Let's go value plays for divisional round games. We'll start at the QB position. C-Swag. Why don't you open us up, good fella?
All right. This is the easiest Easiest play of all time. Playoff Patty, baby, at 6,000 salary flat.
Like it.
Easiest
Third
play.
cheapest quarterback this week.
That's
And
crazy.
it's Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. He's gonna
Yeah.
find a way. He's gonna find a way. Somehow, some way. He's gonna end up scoring that touchdown with 2 minutes left in the game to pull it out and make it happen. Second guy he's going against CJ Stroud right there as well.
Yep.
He's even cheaper at 5,000, which I think is a steal for a quarterback in the playoffs, especially with the weapons that he's got.
Yeah.
The only problem is he is going against the Chiefs defense, who also plays good in the playoffs as well with Patrick Mahomes. So you can take a shot. You can take a shot with those guys, but those are my 2 value plays that stood out to me for cheap in the playoffs.
Yeah, sneaky rushing upside for CJ Stroud last week. I think he had like 48 yards on the ground. That's a passing touchdown in itself, with like 4.8 points. So
Yeah.
in a game they'll probably be down in. I know the Chiefs like to play some ball control, but you're right. I mean, I can't think of a true number 1 corner there at the Chiefs that's going to lock up Nico Collins. They got a really good D-line, some good linebackers, but I can't think of a guy that matches up well with Nico Collins, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I'll start with that one. Patrick Mahomes was definitely my number 1 too. That's a crazy, crazy price for a multiple Super Bowl and regular season MVP quarterback with the team he had.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I like Jalen Hurts 6,800 against the Rams. Last time they played the Rams, I think Saquon had an absolute field day.
Yeah.
He's playing a lot better. I don't foresee the Rams letting Saquon get however many yards it was, 200 something on the ground again. I feel like with as bad as Hurts played last week, honestly, like he didn't have a good game. He looked kind of offense was struggling to move the ball, and maybe it's some remnants of the concussion, whatever it was. I have a feeling they're going to try and lock up Saquon this week and make Jalen Hurts beat him through the air, kind of like what teams did when he was at Bama. But still, 6,800 for a rushing quarterback. Always a potential for 3 tush pushes when they get down to the 1-yard line. That's 18 points. So 3 1-yard touchdowns is 18 points. It doesn't matter how many yards you have. It's all about the touchdowns. But yeah, CJ Stroud 2 and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. That's mine. What do you got?
I've got same 2 as you guys. Patrick Mahomes, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud's super cheap. Got great weapons. I think there's a good opportunity there. They just got to protect him and give him time, which is going to be tough against the Chiefs defense. It's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, right? We all know that. And then I've actually got – he's higher priced, but I've got Jaden Daniels against Detroit. Last time we saw Detroit's defense, they absolutely locked up Sammy Darnold. It was pretty ugly. I thought the defensive coordinator did a great job putting pressure on him. I think the good news for Jaden Daniels is they've seen that. So at least they have an extra week to prepare. Seen some of the schemes they ran against Sam Darnold. Hopefully they can put Jaden Daniels in a good position. And the reality is if you look at Detroit's defense overall as a whole this season, it wasn't good. So I think there's opportunities there. He's a higher price, but if you go away from the cheaper options with CJ Stroud, Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, if you're going to reach high, I would reach Jaden Daniels this week against probably the best matchup defensive wise that's out there for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
the catch-22 when you get this deep into the season, when you start limiting, to 4-team slates or 8-team slates.
Yep.
8-team slates, yeah.
You better hit.
You've got to pick that guy that drops the 30 burger.
Yeah.
You have to. If you don't, then
you're done. You're
already behind the 8 ball. You better hope that one of those cheaper guys you picked or expensive guys you picked hits. So it's almost it's almost more comparable. Like I will say, like if you have to kind of spend up at some positions, obviously, because all the players now are good because the teams are good.
Yeah.
So you're not finding really cheap players on bad teams, whatever it is. So I think it's most critical at this point if you pick a quarterback, I kind of like to vary my quarterbacks and go a little bit more heavy on the position players like running backs and receivers, a little more consistency in those positions where you have more options. Like you have 3 receivers, 2 running backs in the flex. Like you can kind of, if you pick one guy in there, you have some potential for other people to make up for it.
Yeah.
You better be dang confident in your quarterback because you only get one.
Yep. No, I agree.
Mix up some of the variations in your lineup.
Yeah. Trying to throw something different out there, but shake my head. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's move to RBs. Gabe, you take a turn this time. You start us, baby.
All right. So the first one I got, probably gonna snipe you guys. I still like Brian Robinson, 5,300. Even with Austin Eckler coming back, he's at 4,800. Brian Robinson is their goal line back, touchdown machine. He had 3 catches last week. He still gets involved in the pass game a little bit. He did not have a touchdown last week, and he's kind of dependent upon touchdowns, but I still think he had like 10 points, 10, 11 points with no touchdown. But at 5,300, he gets 1 touchdown. He's already halfway to meeting that salary point, not counting any of his catches, yards, whatever it is. So I think he's honestly in a game where they're going to be behind against Detroit probably, or it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both defenses are not menacing. I kind of think you have to take Brian Robinson at that price because his touchdown potential is going to be the highest on that team, most likely. In terms of betting odds, probably be the lowest odds to score a touchdown for them. And he's one of their cheaper salary players behind McLaurin and Jaden Daniels and some of the other ones. And then Kyron Williams at 6,900. Last week, watching that Rams and Minnesota game, he was on the field for almost every snap. Had a receiving touchdown, and I think almost had 100 yards on the ground. It's all about volume at this point. All these players are really good, but I kind of got to go towards games with, I guess, matchup-wise. What do I think is going to happen? I do think it's kind of risky with Philly potentially controlling that game with a good offense against a mediocre defense in the cold. So I like to find running backs with receiving upside as well.
Yeah.
If you kind of get some few points that way. I think Kyron Williams does that. That's why I kind of stay away from Derrick Henry. But I think a guy you have to look at now is James Cook after the game he had against Denver, because that is a really good defense, and James Cook had a really good game. And
He cooked.
He cooked. I know Baltimore's defense is really good too, but I think Josh Allen opens up a lot for him with his ability to throw the ball around, and they're not able to stack the box. And also, I think that they were during the season they were kind of leaning towards some of their backups there with Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. And I know Ty Johnson still gets some receiving work, but I think James Cook's still easily a goal line back for sure, and he's going to get the majority of the work. So that's kind of the 3 guys I've kind of locked in on, but I'm really the highest on Brian Robinson.
Pulling out the Derrick Henry jersey and not going to throw him in your running backs?
I'll be honest with you. I think you might have a little bit of the same thing as what's going on with Jalen Hurts. I don't know if Buffalo is going to let Derrick Henry beat him. You kind of got to pick your poison. If Lamar throwing to Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, and Mark Andrews, I think I like that much more than letting Derrick Henry get a free chance at my linebackers and safeties at the second level.
Fair enough.
I don't trust Derrick Henry as far as I can throw him. Just not very far. Especially with Justice Hill caught a touchdown last week, taking all the receiving work again now that he's back. You got to have so go ahead. I'll come back to Derrick Henry. Go ahead, and I'll give you some stats from his game last week. But go ahead and go to the next one.
Cole, what you got? Running backs.
Yeah, Gabe, I'm very shocked you didn't go with Isaiah Pacheco over Brian Robinson here.
Nah, Kareem Hunt's there still. I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan, huh? Well, Pacheco started off hot the first 2 weeks of the year. He started off with 15 points and 16 points. Ever since then, he hadn't been able to really get into a groove. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I feel a breakout game coming at some point for him. At 5,500, I'm going to take the shot over him with receiving work over Brian Robinson, who gets no receiving work, basically. Second guy.
Fair.
Second guy is kind of a risk. David Montgomery's coming back, so I chose Jahmyr Gibbs. I feel like he's established himself as he can be the lead guy, the lead running back, and kind of have David Montgomery come in probably on the goal line. Most likely that's how it's been the last few years, is he's taken all the touchdowns away from Jahmyr Gibbs. But Jahmyr Gibbs, his receiving ability is what really sells him as a value pick for me. So those are the 2 guys I'm rolling with in my lineups, or most of my lineups. Joe Mixon's another guy I've looked at. James Cook as well. So I'm going to probably be in between those 3 guys: James Cook,
Pause.
Joe Mixon, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, man. That was a good one. Good timing.
It was.
Good timing. Oh, man. So, my value at running back here, I think value-wise, there's good options. I think Brian Robinson's a great option at 5,300. Like you said, he gets in the end zone, gets 40 yards. He's good to go. But I think for me, I'm curious about David Montgomery. He's at the cheapest salary he's been all year, right? 5,700. I looked it up before he went out. He had 12 or more points in 7 straight weeks, and I like him at the goal line. So I think everybody's going to go Jameer. I think there's a chance. Again, it's a risk, but David Montgomery at 5,700 to me is an interesting play. I'm not saying that it will be my play. I just think it is an interesting play that we can talk about because that is the cheapest he's been all year. And part of that has to do with the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs went for freaking 49 fantasy points last time he was out. But I digress. I think you can go David potentially as like a change-up play that I think will be low ownership at 5,700. And then I really like – so I'm with you 100%, Gabe, on Derrick Henry, but I like him this week. It's one of those gut feels.
All right, look. He's priced at like
8,000.
He's been that way for the last 5 or so weeks. He's had 162, 147, 138, 186 yards on the ground his last 4 games. I mean, he's averaging somewhere close to 150 yards a game on the ground. But he has 5 touchdowns in those last 4 games. You take those touchdowns away, this dude's getting you like 13, 14 points, and he's like half what his salary should be. But the problem is he's scoring touchdowns. He's got like 20-plus touchdowns this year. So how can you not trust that he's going to score again?
You bet on the touchdown, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. For something about me, if I'm going to spend up 8,000, you better get some pass work, and you better be catching touchdowns, and I better like the matchup. I don't like the matchup against Buffalo, to be honest with you.
Buffalo is 23rd to running backs.
What scares me is that it gets into a pass-heavy score. I assume Baltimore's going to try to control the ball on the ground with Derrick Henry. What happens if that doesn't work? And they just stack the box. Derrick Henry gets 50 yards. Josh Allen scores 4 touchdowns. Baltimore's playing from behind the whole game at home, or Baltimore's playing from behind on the road, and Justice Hill's out there for 60% of the snaps because Derrick Henry's not getting any work. I don't like the matchup with Derrick Henry in a game that I don't think Baltimore can control. I don't think Baltimore is going to control this game. Like, I think Buffalo at home is going to be in control of it for the most part. So that's why I don't like Derrick Henry, but it's Derrick Henry. He's probably the GOAT of running backs. I mean, if you like him though, Britton, go after him.
Hey, I haven't picked him all year, so here's the curse, Derek. Sorry, buddy.
I did, and Derrick Henry, I love you. You're the GOAT, but I'm sorry I can't do it. You're too expensive.
So my thing is my biggest concern for Derrick Henry is kind of what you said, Gabe. I feel like this is going to be an MVP showcase potentially. So that's one of the reasons that I hesitate to say Derrick Henry. But as far as the numbers go, matchup-wise for running backs is probably the best out there. Now, he's one of the more higher-priced running backs, so you got to give and take there, I guess. But that's the only reason that I circled Derrick Henry is the matchup. So we'll see. But let's move on. We could talk about Derrick Henry all day as Bama fans, but we need to move on to the next thing.
Love that guy.
Let's go to receivers. I'll start us since I haven't started us yet. Pause. So I'm going back to the Scary Terry, 6,300 in Detroit. That's a terrible defense in the air. I will take it. He's clearly Daniel's guy, and at 6,300, that's pretty cheap for a wide receiver 1. Even if he's got a rookie thrown to him in Detroit, I still think there's going to be opportunities, especially if they get behind, which I could see happening quickly in Detroit. So I really like Terry McLaurin this week at 6,300. And then my second one, my plum pick from multiple weeks ago that I saved his career, Xavier Worthy, 5,200.
Saved his career.
Against the Houston Texans, right? So they're 22nd to wide receivers in fantasy. I think the safe pick for the Chiefs is the go-to guy, Travis Kelce, right? I think people will look at him because he's had playoff success with Patrick Mahomes. But they do need a receiver one. And I think Xavier Worthy's kind of stepped up to the plate the last couple weeks. The last 3 games he's played with Mahomes, he's had 19.6, 20.5, and 22.9. So he's really trending in the right direction. And we'll see if the playoffs continue that streak. But he's a very cheap potential receiver one at 5,200 there. All right, Gabe, what you got?
Well, buddy, I'm gonna blow your mind with this one.
Is it 3,000 or less? I mean, is it 4,000 or less?
Hollywood Brown, 4,200 for the Chiefs. 2 games this year. 2 games he played. 2 games. 7 targets, 8 targets. He
It's
had
pretty good.
9.5 and 8.6 points. Didn't have a touchdown. He never eclipsed 50 yards, but he had 4 catches and 5 catches for about 46 yards.
It's a lot of targets for a guy that's 4,000 salary.
Exactly. I think with the time they've had now, bye week, whatever,
Yeah.
injury, I think he gets in there and he instantly becomes the wide receiver one. I don't think it's Worthy yet.
I don't think it is either, but I think there's potential.
Yeah, I think
wide receiver one.
I definitely think he's a great play. He's a gadget guy, Worthy is, and I feel like he struggles on some of the deep balls with awareness, sideline awareness. If you've seen the montage of getting his feet down, he struggles there. But you have Hopkins, Hollywood, and Worthy, all 3 pretty good options in Kansas City. Which one of those guys is going to be the guy that goes off?
Kelsey,
probably.
None of the guys we picked.
Yeah, but I think like you said, Worthy, he probably is the wide receiver one. Probably Hopkins 2, since Hollywood hadn't played. So that means that Hopkins is 2. Hollywood is going against the 3rd best corner for Houston, if that's the case.
Yeah.
8 targets, 7 targets. He's the cheapest guy. Give me Hollywood. And then last week, I had this guy in a few lineups. De'Ami Brown for the Commanders, 3,900.
Yeah, he did.
He got hurt. He was the number 2 there, and then Zacchaeus stepped up. But he had 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown last week. I'm really big on De'Ami Brown this week against Detroit, especially if they have to play catch up.
What's the salary?
3,900.
Yeah.
Especially if they had to play catch up against the Lions. I think he's a fantastic play. And this guy right here. How is he this cheap? Cooper Kupp, 5,400. How is it possible that he has descended all the way to the depths of Xavier Worthy territory and some of these other guys? Like, you've got Jameson Williams above him, which if you said Jameson Williams would be more expensive than Cooper Kupp, you'd probably get laughed at. But it's for some reason the ball's just not going to him. But if they get down to Philly, it could be a pass-heavy game for Kupp. Gets a few catches, and he's at a price now where it's almost free for his production or historic production. But I don't know. Maybe they take Puka away with some of their better corners and force him to go to Kupp. I don't know, but it seems like almost too good to be true. Because he's been pretty bad at the end of the season, which, trust me, I will touch on later. A little foreshadowing for that one. But I won't spoil them all. Those are kind of the 3 I'm locked in on.
Cole, what you got?
I think we all 3 made the same lineups unknowingly. Terry McLaurin is a guy that I have picked, number 1 guy. Great rapport with Jaden Daniels. Xavier Worthy, another guy. I'll tell you what, I was surprised with that Hollywood pick. I laughed at first, started laughing, tried to hide it, thinking he's about to do it again. The Johnson pick. And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, who on that Chiefs team, now reminds me the most of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who seems to always get 2 touchdowns in big games in the playoffs? Hollywood Brown could be that guy.
Could be.
He could be.
I'll be honest with you. This is going to be blasphemous. Worthy reminds me of Valdez-Scantling. Hollywood reminds me.
Well, I just meant from an obscurity standpoint, where like, oh yeah, that guy's still in the league. Like, he still exists. He's that fast, sneaky guy.
He reminds me of Tyreek, and Scantling, deep threat, kind of reminds me of Worthy. So that's why I'm kind of liking Hollywood.
And then I've got Cooper Kupp as well at 5,400. It kind of feels
Dang.
like DraftKings is dangling him out there, like take him, pick him.
Take him.
Yeah, take it.
Yeah, like
It's
I
like
dare
something
you
we
to
don't
pick this
know.
guy.
It's like they know something we don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I think's going on there is I think Sean McVay's kind of twisted that offense. Now Puka Nakua's got that Cooper Kupp role. Cooper Kupp used to catch those short screens and everything else. Now you kind of see Puka catching all those short screens and goal line outs and things like that and fade routes. So I kind of feel like they're trusting Puka's playmaking ability a lot more than Kupp's now because Kupp's getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of see now is it's changed to now Puka's the focal point of that offense instead of Cooper Kupp because now they have that option. So that's the three guys that I have picked. I've got AJ Brown picked in a lineup just because I know if I don't pick him, he's gonna scorch me, even though he probably will put up a big goose egg and set him
Yeah.
down.
What makes me want to go Cooper Kupp is just the fact that it's Cooper Kupp. 5,400. Like, how can you not take a chance on that at that price? Like, what if they take Puka away? What if Puka gets hurt? Puka last game injured his knee. Now, it wasn't a significant injury, but he's on the sideline working on it, trying to figure out what's going on. And with heavy volume like that, as much as Puka's been getting, you always take a chance of him taking a wrong hit to the leg, something, and then Cooper Kupp becomes Cooper Kupp again at 5,400. And it's if they take Puka away, they got to find somewhere to throw the ball.
I'll tell you what, one catch for 29 yards though in a playoff game
I know.
for Cooper Kupp.
I know.
Tough.
That's crazy, man. You would never guess that with how the last few years have been.
No.
I'll tell you what, some poor soul probably had him picked on a season-long fantasy and has paid the price for that.
I think that's me.
All right, let's move to tight ends. Who wants to start us? Pause.
I'll start us. I got a big question mark next to Travis Kelce at 5,000. I don't know if I trust it. I know he's Patrick Mahomes' best friend. I know Taylor Swift will be there in her hard eyes jackets, whatever it is, for Travis Kelce. But for some reason, I don't trust it. My favorite play is Tyler Higbee at 3,400. He had 5 catches for 58 yards last week before he hurt his chest.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Which really upset me because I was big on him in a lot of lineups, and he still got good production. He performed where the salary was at. But man, he had 58 yards in the first quarter, and he was tracking for a nice day and got hurt. So I don't know if he's going to be playing. And honestly, if that's the case, it kind of makes me like Cooper Kupp even more if Higbee's out, because then they're going to have to find somewhere else to throw it. And they try to get Higbee involved. And then Dallas Goedert, 3,900. He's questionable with the illness. He did not practice today. But I don't, unless he's got a severe case of the flu, something going on, maybe Calcaterra plays, but I don't see him being inactive for that game. It kind of scares me starting a guy at this part of the season with an illness when it's flu season. Like,
Yeah.
how sick are you? I don't know.
Well, the good news is if he doesn't play and you're paying attention, Calcaterra is out there for 2,800.
Yeah.
So he would be a good play.
It's like if he still goes into the game questionable, but they do rule him active.
Yeah, that's true.
Does he barely play, and Calcaterra ends up being a good kind of pivot at the tight end there and gets a few catches at 2,800, and it frees up a lot of salary, about $1,000 in there between those two. So, but my favorite play this week, Cole, Mark Andrews, 4,500, who had 3 points more than Deontay Johnson last week, just 3. Okay, so it's not like, I mean, Mark Andrews, Deontay Johnson, they're pretty much equitable, right? At this point.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think that the Ravens will have to play a lot more fast-paced this game, throw the ball a little bit more against Buffalo. So I do like Mark Andrews this week. The Ravens played – why am I blanking on who the Ravens played last week? Oh, the Steelers. Derrick Henry went butt naked, crazy loud. So you have to really catch the ball, Mark Andrews. This week, you're going to have to get involved, buddy. You're going to have to start catching some passes. So I like Mark this week.
Cole, what you got?
So, yeah, I've been looking at the tight end rankings. Now, I'm looking for guys that are like, wow, I can't believe he's that cheap. Dallas Goedert is 3,900, which I think is surprisingly cheap after he just put up 14.7. And Zach Ertz is still worth more than him, and he just put up 4. So
Yeah.
Dallas Goedert is a risk with the sickness that he's got, but I think he'd be worth the risk if he's good to go. Another guy is Sam Laporta. I think he's another one of those Mr. Consistency guys now.
Yeah, he's playing. He's been playing better. Yeah.
Yeah, he's became that target that everybody was hoping for later on in the year. So those two guys I have circled right now. Don't trust Mark Andrews against Buffalo.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
I don't trust Travis Kelce against Houston. I think DeMeco Ryans is definitely he's one of those guys that is a guru on defense. I think we're going to see a lot of Will Anderson maybe throwing some chips at Travis Kelce to get him late on his routes, things like that, to kind of slow him down.
Yeah. Well, Britton, while we're doing some of the lineups and whatever, maybe you could look into this. I'd be interested to know how much man versus zone the Texans play. I don't know if you could find that stat. Kelce,
Yeah, I can find it.
Kelce ain't beating no man coverage anymore. He's
Yeah.
running 5-yard hitches and trying to find soft spots in zones. He's not out running safeties anymore. So I don't know if the Texans play a lot of man or zone, whatever it is. It kind of makes me think they play a lot of man. But I don't know, with a good D line and with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, maybe they do play more zone and try and heat them up and make them throw into some suspect spots. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if I trust Travis Kelce either against the Texans. It's only 5,000, but he's not catching many touchdowns this year. Then you kind of need a touchdown because he's not getting 150 yards through the air.
Yeah.
To meet that 15 points, but maybe 15 points. I mean, that's 7 catches for 80 yards on average. If you don't get to 150 yards, so it seems like a low price for him, but it's really not. It's kind of for no touchdowns. 5,000 is a lot for a tight end.
Yeah, I agree. I'll find that in just a second, but it's my turn to go real quick.
Go ahead, buddy. I'll look for you too. Go ahead.
We got Dallas Goedert at 3,900. We already talked about it. I'm done. And then Travis Kelce's my other guy. So I do trust Travis Kelce in the playoffs. He just got the wiggle. He finds ways to get open. Patrick Mahomes, if he gets under pressure, that's where he's going. So at 5,000, these guys getting a whole bye week, feeling fresh, feeling good. I'm a big believer in the bye week going in that you can really recover pretty well for these guys, especially the older guys like a Travis Kelce. I think it's probably good for him to get a reset. He's probably been hanging out with his boo, Taylor Swift. They're probably ready to go for Saturday afternoon game. So we'll see. But I didn't really love. There wasn't a matchup that I really loved as far as the numbers go outside of Dallas Goedert. The Rams are the best matchup for tight ends. Defensively, they're 27th to the tight end position. So I really like Goddard as a play if he's healthy. Hopefully he can figure that out. Or at least hopefully the NFL can figure that out and get him ruled out before he gets listed as active and then plays 2 snaps. So well that is a risk that you're going to have to take. So that's kind of where I'm at. But let's jump. Do y'all want to do core 4? Y'all want to do no touchy? Y'all want to do optimal?
Let's do core 4.
Okay.
Plum picks after that.
Plum picks. All right. Core 4. I'll start us off. This may change, but it's probably not because I'm going high salaries. I'm pulling the Cole Wagner across the board, baby. I've got Derrick Henry at 8,000, Xavier Worthy, Terry McLaurin, and Jaden Daniels. I'm going high price, no cheap. Screw it. It's playoffs. I'm spending the money, baby. Let's go.
All right. Who are you passing to next?
Cole, you go. Looks like Gabe's looking something up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
All right. Give me Patty Mahomes. Give me Terry McLaurin. Give me Xavier Worthy. And give me Dallas Goedert. My core 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Not too crazy on the salary this week. They're not too high, not too low. They're kind of in the middle. So we're building it on a sturdy foundation, not stick.
Sturdy.
Yep. Gabe, go ahead. Pick De'Ami Brown. Pick Hollywood. Or pick Hollywood.
Got one. 1 for 1. I'll go Hollywood Brown, and then I'm going Pat Mahomes, the stack, and then I'm going Mark Andrews, and I'm going Mr. Book Club himself, 7,000 AJ Brown.
Are you kidding? You're going 7,000 AJ Brown?
I think it's
That's
his
shocking,
week. I think
dude.
it's his week.
What's the reference for the book? What's the book club reference?
Book club reference. You didn't see him on the sideline reading a book last week?
No.
Yeah,
Oh man, you've been living under a rock, baby.
Yeah,
I usually see everything like that. I didn't see that.
I know, that's why I'm surprised you didn't see it. That's crazy.
He's been in the media circles for.
Yeah.
He must have got one of Oprah's best picks or something.
It was a book about staying involved and being successful or something, like because he wasn't getting the ball, and so he was trying to maintain his, I guess, composure throughout the game.
Wait a minute, hold on. You're reading a staying involved on book on being successful book on the sideline?
Something like that, yeah. It was like
I'll tell you what, man. My goal we do a New Year's resolution. We're 16 days into the new year. My goal by the end of this year is to have the self-confidence of a number one star wide receiver.
So delusional.
Dude. You know he's not reading that book to read that book and be successful. He's reading that book so people on Twitter will see it and talk about it and get his money up.
I don't disagree.
That's ridiculous. That is so wild to me that that this happens to these star receivers. It's just crazy. If I was a corner, I'd rather corners have that kind of mentality than receivers because of how hard of a job they have. I mean, dude, it's just wild to me, man, that these receivers act like this and just. But, hey, be AJ Brown,
Yeah, he's making way more money than we ever will.
Yeah, don't be Cole Wagner. Be AJ Brown.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's transition. Let's go plum here, boys. Cole, have the honors. Start us off with your plum pick.
I'm a big believer in low salary plum pick guys. Give me Olamidis Zaccheaus. Is he healthy? Didn't you say he got injured?
No, that was De'Ami Brown. Yeah, he's healthy. You're good.
Yeah, give me Olamidis Zaccheaus. 4,300.
I love it, dude. I actually do like him this week, so I don't mind it.
Well, if he's going to be lining up in the slot some, Detroit is the worst defense against slot receivers. For example, when I found that out, Thanksgiving Day, I put Keenan Allen in all my lineups, and that was, I think, the best game of the year.
Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like 26. So, give me Zaccheaus. And give me the biggest plums in this podcast.
Zaccheaus was a wee little man.
Oh, no.
Gabriel?
All right. I'm doing it.
I've been waiting for this because it feels like this is going to be a good one.
I'm going my little Cooper Cup.
Wow.
That was going to be mine too until I changed it the last second. And I was like, nah, let's do something crazy.
I'm doing it. He's been trash. The Eagles' defense is good. They got good corners. I think they take Nakua away, and something's telling me, dude, that Puka's going to get hurt this week. I'm going Cooper Cup.
Don't put that evil on that man. You put that evil on me.
It's almost like he's fighting something every week. Every time I watch him, I'm like, he's just fighting something.
You just wish an injury on Puka.
I did not wish an injury. No, I did not. I did not.
He just said he feels.
But I feel like it's coming, and I don't want to be caught by it.
Feels and he hopes.
You picked Cooper Cup to be your guy. And you were like, I feel like an injury's coming. So basically, you're wishing that Puka will get hurt so Cooper Cup.
1,000% not wishing an injury upon any man. I'm not doing it.
Or woman. Yeah, go ahead and finish that statement.
Sorry.
All right, boys. Well, oh, man.
I got you, buddy. Last season, the Houston Texans ran zone coverage at a 78.1%. That was with D'Amico Ryans.
Give me Travis Kelce.
That means Travis Kelce most likely going to be battling some man coverage this weekend. doing his little 5-yard hitch routes, maybe a little 2-yard hitch, catch a pass, and fall forward for 3 yards. That's his go-to. He needs 45 of those to meet his salary projection.
Britain's gonna be tore up when Travis Kelce catches that one at the goal line and gets tackled and just pitches.
That's gonna hurt a little bit. Oh man! So plum pick this week. This is one that's going to absolutely shock you guys because I have hated on him all year long, and he may or may not be in this milk carton team, all pro team or whatever we're about to make. We'll clarify that in a second. Boys, give me Dalton Kincaid at 3,700. I've got the feeling I've hated on him all year long. This is it. This is the game.
I'm about to hit you with a stat, and you're gonna cry after what you just said.
I've already seen all the stats because I've been researching for the milk carton team.
Dalton Kincaid was on the field for 29 of the 76 Bills snapped this past week.
He's hurt, man. Just kidding. I just got that weird feeling. Plums are all about the weird feeling.
Yeah.
That's my weird feeling.
You get that checked out.
That's true. It might be cancerous. Probably should check it.
Get that checked.
Check my prostate. I don't know. I just got a weird feeling.
Time out.
Can do that for you.
Yeah, he probably will. He'll probably bend me over a barrel.
Trust me, as a Dalton Kincaid's going to check it for you.
I want you to play this next week. And he goes for 10 points. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. So let's go to what'd you say?
We're going milk carton now? Is that what we're doing?
You want to do optimal and then go milk?
Yeah, let's do optimal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I've been hated on all day for my lineup, so I'll just go ahead and throw this out there because it's going to effing suck anyways. Hold on just a second. All right, my optimal lineup: Jaden Daniels, Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Xavier Worthy, Terry McLaurin, Puka Nacua, Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz, and the Commanders.
Okay.
That sounds like a team that's destined for failure.
All right, Cole, what do you got, buddy? Go ahead. Give me something.
All right, I got Pat Mahomes, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Xavier Worthy, Dallas Goedert, Cooper Kupp, and the Ravens defense. I've got a feeling this team's going to win me $5 until the night game, and then I'm going to get bounced out. A lot of my Sundays are gone this year.
Oh, God. All right, Gabe, what you got?
All right, so right now, this is the team I got, but I'm really debating on changing it. But I got Pat Mahomes, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Brown, Hollywood Brown, A.J. Brown, Puka Nacua, Mark Andrews, and Khalil Shakir with the Ravens defense. But I'm kind of playing around right now with maybe changing up Puka Nacua and putting Cooper Kupp in and adding Kyron Williams instead of Khalil Shakir, which would give me basically the same exact team, but instead of Khalil Shakir and Puka Nacua, I would have Cooper Kupp and Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm like, ooh, Cooper Kupp, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Kyron Williams. That seems like a pretty good three there instead of Puka Nacua and Khalil Shakir. So we'll see what happens. That's kind of what I'm battling between those two right now.
Hey, I forgot to mention this earlier, but we did not hit no touchy. You want to circle to no touchy or go milk carton?
We'll go milk carton because we can probably hit on some of the no touchies in the milk carton section.
Okay. Well, I just want to get this off my chest.
Oh, okay.
We're going heavy. You guys are going heavier, maybe Gabe specifically. That Eagles-Rams game is going to be like 13-7.
Oh, you think so, huh?
It's going to be less than 32 degrees at kick. Rams are outside of the elements. The pass rush for Philadelphia is really good. Like, they have a good defense. They got good corners. I'm worried about the Rams. That was my no touchy. Anyways, go on. I'm taking
the A.J. Brown deep bomb touchdown. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those Rams players been playing in Cali and Arizona, and that hamstring ain't loose. That thing locks up on him as A.J. Brown's running past him for a 70-yard touchdown.
And that's how we end, boys. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.